Okay, on to the Ancestors PSD. Now I'm going to do the same thing here, same techniques with the spot healing brush and the healing brush tool, and show you the different techniques and where they apply and how they work out. And then we're going to end with the vignette effect on this one. Okay, so I'm going to go over to my Band-Aid tool, the spot healing, make sure that one's selected. This is the one that picks the random pixels. Okay, and I'm going to go up here, increase the size of my brush by using the close hard bracket here. And I'm going to get rid of the spots that are up here in the background. Again, always starting with the background because there's enough pixels in the background to kind of really merge these together. I'm a little more cautious when I get into the detail of the image. And for example, like here on his forehead and such. But I'm just going to work on the background for a little bit. And I can see that there's some lines here, so I'm just going to draw a line right here. And there we go, we've got that. Again, random pixels is what's going on with this spot healing. I'm just getting random pixels here. I got to be careful. My tablet does double fingers will bring up certain menus and such. But now I'm clicking here in these spots and just getting rid of them. And going from here. Everything looks good. Now I didn't make an extra copy of my layer, so I am affecting the original. Okay, so I'd have to undo all the way back to the beginning if I didn't want that to happen, but I wanted to show you that there's many techniques. And this one's destroying the original, so this is a destructive edit, as opposed to the first one where I did a non-destructive edit. Now I'm getting his hair, just blending it in the hair there. Okay, her chin has a lot going on, and I want to kind of make sure those are good. Now I could increase the size of my brush here and pick pixels out, but I might get her shirt and such, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is for now. And I get this dark area on the collar. And again, it's pulling from random pixels. Alright. He's got some dots here on his jacket lapel. Alright, and there's a couple more here. Now we do have some big spots here. We have a big scratch here, and then we have this ink stain that I'm going to work on. And also it looks like I've got this scratch here in your hair that I'm going to have to fix. And I might also want to get rid of these freckles or whatever they are on his forehead here just to make it look better. But these are all being blended in, so he's getting a much better look there, kind of giving him a facelift and cosmetic surgery here. All right, now I'm going to increase the size of my brush so it covers this entire spot here on this lady's shirt. And I'm going to increase it by hitting the hard bracket, close hard bracket. And when I do one spot, it should get rid of the entire item, and voila, it's gone. So it's a beautiful thing. Now I could move my cursor over here and do the same thing. So if I click here and I do this, okay, the big problem is notice that she's got pleats on this shirt, and those pleats have disappeared now that I've just brought in those random pixels and mixed those in. And I don't want that. I don't want the pleats to disappear. I still want to be an emphasis on those pleating. So this is where that healing brush tool comes in really nicely. So I'm going to grab the healing brush tool again. And I'm going to come up here to this section, and I'm going to sample from this line right about here. So I'm going to capture that line. Again, I'm going to do the Alt or Option key on a Mac to hold down and do a left mouse click so I sample that. So again, that's an Alt left click on a PC, Option left click on a Mac. And it sampled from that spot. So now when I come down, I have that line. I'm following basically the line, so it's parallel. And I'm just going to left click and paint. Okay, and so I'm picking the pixels from that area, and notice as I go over here I'm also bringing that dark line down. So now you can see the nice pleating that's still there, and it didn't cover it up at all. So again, another good reason to understand the difference between a spot healing brush and the healing brush. Spot healing brush randomly picks pixels from the surrounding area, whereas healing brush, you get to choose where the pixels are going to come from. And in this instance, that was actually working out better because I got to choose the pleats and bring those down, so it looks more natural. Alright, so I'm going to go back to my spot healing here, grab this, and this is a good way to get rid of this ink stain. I'm going to shrink my brush with a close open hard bracket to shrink it down, and then I'm going to left click, and that should go right away. So that's nice and gone. I'm going to shrink my brush down a little bit more, get rid of this line here across. So I'm going to start here and just do this area, and then I'm going to do this area on the sleeve, and that should blend very nicely. Okay, and of course I've got some spots here that I can get rid of. And you know, you can go as detailed as you like. Maybe I want to leave a little bit of spots there just to make it look more authentic if I wanted to. Just to say, yeah, it is an old photo and we're fixing up a lot of it. But it all depends on your client, right? or whoever you're doing this for, whatever eye they want to have on the item you're working on. And then the one last thing I want to do, actually a couple last things, I guess I'm going to do a scratch here and a scratch in your hair here. So I'm going to shrink my brush down again. I don't want to get too much. I'm just do the inside of the hair here so it blends okay. That's pretty good. And then I'll do this area here. Just fill that in. And again, I'm using the spot healing brush, so it's randomly picking pixels from the surrounding area to fill that in. Okay, and that looks really good. So, oh, I do have another spot right here on this line, so I'm going to grab the healing brush tool. And again, I'm going to sample from the top here with the Alt click or Option click on a Mac. And then I'm going to come down and paint right here on this line just to cover that up and blend it so the pleating looks really good. Fantastic. Now the last thing I want to do with this particular image is I want to create a vignette effect. And the vignette effect is going to allow the edges to either lighten or darken depending on what how I want it to look. So I'm going to go to my filter menu across the top here, and then I'm going to go down to correct camera distortion. And it's really funny because it's not necessarily a camera distortion, but if there was a problem where it did create a lensing vignette, I can remove that. But here I want to do it on purpose. Now, in this section here on the right, I have all my controls, and there is a section for the vignette. And I can darken or lighten, and it's just like exactly what it says. If I slide the slider towards the lighten area, the corners become very, very bright. And you can see that right away. If I move to the darken area, you'll see that they'll get very, very dark. So it's totally up to me how I want that vignette to work. So if I want it to go dark, I can do this. I also can change the midpoint. For example, if I move this now, the slider more to the right, notice that everything is getting brighter. So I'm making that midpoint expand outward, and then I'm shrinking the midpoint down here by going in this direction, and it's all getting darker. Usually don't touch that too much, but certainly the darken and the lighten. So I can create a vignette effect here where it's lightening the edges, and then I can click OK, and there we go. So now we have this vignette effect on the edges, and it's lightened up those edges so that way we really removed it. If I had gone a little bit further, I might have been able to get this out of there as well, but it looks pretty good. So here we have an effect where I've gone and used the spot healing brush tool and the healing brush tool to fix scratches and ink problems with ink and dust as well on the images. And I hope you liked my lesson. Until next time, I thank you very much. Have a good day.